it's always nice to see inside people's sewing rooms or studios or wherever you're invited into. And I just thought today, I've been doing a lot of filming, a lot of making. This is the table where I do a lot of cutting out. That's a piece of work that's waiting to be framed. Some of you might recognise it from a previous video. Over here I'm going to make a little cover for a book that I'm busy drawing in, so I've got some bits of paper out of this is my lovely big box down here. Look at all that lush stuff. Bits of lace and painted calico and things in there, and bits of painted newspaper. And for those of you who've watched my sketchbook videos, you'll know that I really love keeping all these things because they come in very handy. So over here, let's just have a look. That's the bins, that's some fabrics. Oh, here's my camera. Just finished filming. Over here, oh look, what's that frame doing in there? Dear, oh dear. Shocking, really. So this is my bench by the window. This is where I look out at the donkeys when they go past. This is all my stuff. That's my finished bits. As I say, I've just finished a film. This is all the leftovers. This is what it looks like. I have this piece of canvas that I film onto because I think the background would otherwise be a bit muddy, because I have a lovely oilcloth on my bench, which is on this table, which has got roses all over it. I think that's a bit distracting, really. So there's some paintbrushes here, some little lovely ceramic pots that I've collected over the years, made by friends. This is one by my friend Jill Owen is a lovely ceramics lady. There's a beautiful rainbow there that my friend made for me, another friend. I'm so lucky, very blessed with my friends. So this is where my embellisher usually sits. I get to look out the window when I'm embellishing. This is my lovely old ironing board, which is a funny old wooden thing, so I have to be very careful not to set fire to it. And as usual, it's a dumping ground, because that's how life is, isn't it? Life is just constantly putting things down and then moving them on. And over here's my sewing machine. Ooh, my little house has come adrift. There's my little house that I bought on the Isle of Mull. And little drawers. In my little drawers there's all sorts of things. Mostly it's sewing needles and tape measures. More tape measures. You can't have enough tape measures. Green threads, my little scissors, my nice lamp, my little windowsill, and of course my corner with all my threads, which some of you have seen on a previous video. This is what happens when you get sewing, isn't it? You'll all know what I'm on about when you think, oh yes, piles of threads everywhere. And this is my lovely old faff. And you can see, I'm going to show you real close up, because look, this is the state of it. The paint has been coming off for a number of years now, so I've got it taped on. So those of you who want posh machines to do free machine embroidery, you know, save your money, buy something more simple, and you'll get just as much out of it, unless you really want to use posh embroidery stitches, which is fine. So there you go, quick little view of what's going on in here after my filming. It's Friday and I'm going to do some tidying up next, because really I don't know what to do next because it's such a mess. The problem is you get all these things left over from the last project that I haven't quite tidied away. So I have my plastic bags that I put all my coloured scraps into. So I've got my green scrap bag. I could pick up all these green scraps. That's a little bit of stitch and tear that can go somewhere. Pick up all my little green bits. Even if they're tiny, they can go and be meshed with my embellisher, which is absolutely great for using up tiny little bits. So I'll need to find I've got a lacy bag somewhere as well. I'll have to find that. So all of these little bits, all of these lovely little scrappy bits, you see, nothing gets wasted. Only I suppose I might put something that sort of size into the recycling, possibly. But then on the other hand, you see, with my embellishing machine, all of these little bits, you can just grab a handful and put them under your embellisher and they will do something magical for you. It's just wonderful. I need to put some pins in my pin cushion. I have many pin cushions. This is a lovely one made by And Made, which I really like it. I bought it a long time ago. And it does sit on here looking rather nice. But it does get its, you see how clever that is? I really like that as a design. Now my yarn needs to go somewhere. That's a yarny thing. Just check that off there. That's a bit of net. This can drive you a bit mad, actually, I think, if you get a bit too bogged down in it. But, you know, I just think all of these, you see, you could even, you know, be snipping those up like that, you see. And I could just get my embellishing machine. You could be snipping all of these up like this. You see, this is supposed to be a tidying video, but can you see how easy it is to get distracted? And I find that when I'm in a what I call a colour zone, if I've just been working with particular colours, I really like to sort of keep them together. I'm sort of in that mood. And sometimes what I do is I might take myself a little jam jar, you see, and I can put all of those in there that I've just snipped up, and any really tiny little bits, and any thready bits that are, I don't know if I've got any threads with this one particularly, but sometimes if there's lots of threads, or sometimes I pick the threads off from the floor around by my sewing machine. See, none of this needs to be wasted. See, that could make a little brooch or something using my embellishing machine. These are two little bits of stalk that I made that I decided not to use in the end. I made those using yarn and some zigzag stitching, so it makes a cord, but I decided not to use those in the end. I'll put those in my little stash. You know, there's a nice bit of yarn, so that could go into my yarns, you see, or it can just go in here. I think I might just pop it in there, so that might be quite fun to add into the mix for those. Another bit of calico, my calico stash. All the detritus of life, isn't it? I've just had to put my blind down there because it was getting a little bit bright for the camera to pick up on everything. So I just thought I'd show you, this is like several projects worth of stuff on here, plus odds and sods of goodness knows what. What I do like is all my, I have all these lovely mugs and things on my windowsill, which I like very much. I'm not quite sure why that's in there, but never mind, that should really be with my painting department. So I've got these really nice yarns. I think I might put those together somewhere. And I've got bits of net. You see, I keep all my little bits of net because they can be very handy for all sorts of things. So this is what you end up with. You end up with these little piles of little things, and some of them you know what to do with and some of them you don't. Some of them go in the bin. You see, little scraps of things like that I find very useful. And take the threads off it, so that can go with my calico pile and my stabilising pile. I've got loads and loads of pin cushions. I have many pin cushions for all possible eventualities. This is a piece of soluble stuff in the making. It's got soluble paper on the back of there. Here's another bag of scraps with lots of lovely colours in. And this is my box here. This is what my current work is for my big piece, so I'm going to keep that out. This is well overdue, I have to say. What's that doing? Wrap that one up. That one can go back into there, I think, like that. Business cards. My lovely choppy knife needs to go somewhere safe. You see, even little bits like this have a place. You see there's threads here, obviously one or two I won't miss, but little pieces like that can be very, 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 very useful when you've got an embellishing machine, or if you're doing just little projects, little samples. I mean, I do throw some out. I have down here, if I show you my, I do have, this is my big waste bin into which I do put all the scraps that I'm not going to be using, and then what happens is that goes to a charity shop and it gets turned into, I don't know, mattresses or something, mattress fillings, or at least I hope it does. So that's, you know, nothing is wasted. This is a nice happy little job. I thought don't know what that's doing in there, but never mind. I thought I'm going to make this little pincushion feel a bit happier by just sharing some pincushions from this very full pincushion. And then that also means when I'm working on this bench here, I have got some pins always there, because this little cactus plant, he lives here, or he lives there. Right, there we go. So that can go back in my main pincushion department. Things like I've just found this lovely calendar that I bought at the beginning of 2020. It's by Este Macleod, I think that's how you pronounce the name, and that's a little synopsis of all the lovely pictures on it, and I just think it's too nice just to throw away, so I will keep it, and I will just keep it in my inspiration box, because I mean, look at that, isn't that just gorgeous? So that's going to be stashed in my inspiration box. I think her work is absolutely lovely. So that's Este Macleod, and I'm going to get my cloth, I'm going to clean it, and then I will be ready to start some work. Let's just do a little bit of a quick dust around. I do try and have a big clear out roughly once a year, but that hasn't quite happened this year. I really felt it last year. Last January I did a really big sort out, and I was going to get rid of all kinds of things, including some old sewing machines, but actually obviously the world kicked off with something else, so I didn't manage to get rid of everything, but it was really good. And I really felt so much better for going through everything and saying, well, is this where I am now? Does this reflect what I want to be doing? You know, because sometimes you have stuff from years ago that is no longer what you are or who you are. Different colours, different fabrics. So I may well do a big sort out, but I'm just going to, in the meantime, do a bit of work. So that feels a lot better. It makes my embellisher feel happy. It is lovely when it's a creative mess. I don't mind it at all, but there comes a point when you've just got to clear up, and it sort of just clears your head, clears your physical space, and then you can see what it is you need to do. I know the rest of the studio needs the same treatment, but I'm not doing all of that today. What I want to get on with, look at this, I have nearly done the whole of the first section of my big piece. I've got this tiny little bit now to embellish some colours onto, so that's what I'm going to do next, and then I'm going to free machine it. I want to get this, I want to really progress this now. I've got two more pieces like this to do, and that's going to be my focus as well going forward, because I really want to get it done. So I hope you enjoyed my little funny, this is the mess in my studio and this is what I'm doing to clean it up. I just thought it was a little bit something different. It was a change for me, just showing you what I'm, you know, making. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it might inspire you. Even if you've got a tiny corner, you know, I always tell people I used to work in a caravan when we were doing our house up, and I was doing one of my courses, I can't remember which one now, B-Tech or something, or might have been the first year of my degree. And we were living in a caravan to start with, and I literally had my sewing machine and a box of fabrics, and that's all I had. So the luxury of what I have now, I know a lot of you won't have this, and I know space can be an issue, but if you can make yourself a little tiny corner somewhere, especially if you can leave your machine out somewhere, then you can always just go to it and use it. And I, as I say, I have the absolute luxury. I can have my embellisher here, and I can have my sewing machine there, And I appreciate not everybody has that. So I will have this on your behalf and I will enjoy it very much. It's about making space for you. I keep coming back to this idea. I think creativity is a form of self-care. Allowing yourself the time and the space to do it is really important. My biggest thing is I get out of the house. I'm very lucky because this is in the garden. I get out of the house physically, then I can't see all the little jobs up there that need doing. I come down here, and the minute I'm down here, my headspace changes, and I think that's why it's so important to have, you know, if it's a spare room that you share with somebody else, make your little area yours, you know, and keep all your little possessions, keep them boxed up, keep them organised, keep them ready for you to use. So, without further ado, I'm going to get on with this. I will see you later.